Hello, my students. I'm your biology teacher, Cikgu Govin. Today, our topic is leaf structure and functions. Our subtopic is 2.5, compensations points. Here are the learning standards. Number 1, describe compensation points. Number 2, compare and contrast photosynthesis and cellular respiration in plants. Number 3, analyze light intensity and attainments of compensation points using a graph. Number 4, predicts the effect on the plant growth if the rate of photosynthesis and rate of cellular respiration remain at its compensation points. Plant cells have chloroplasts and plant cells also have mitochondria. This means plant cell can perform or carry out two biological processes, which is cellular respiration and photosynthesis. Meanwhile, in animal cell only have mitochondria, so animal cell only can carry out process of cellular respiration. Look at these diagrams. The process of respiration in plant takes place throughout the day, either during the daytimes or at night times. But the process of photosynthesis occurs when there is the presence of light, so it happens during the daytimes only. Look at these diagrams. Process of photosynthesis takes place in chloroplasts. Photosynthesis converts carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and glucose in the presence of sunlight. Meanwhile, in process of cellular respirations that occur in mitochondria, oxygen and glucose is converted into carbon dioxide and water. During this process, energy in the form of ATP is produced. Light intensity and attainments of compensation points. Compensation point is the level of light intensity when the rate of respiration is equal to the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, at the compensation point, okay, this one's, the rate of photosynthesis is the same as the rate of respirations. Glucose produced in photosynthesis is used in the respirations of plants. So look at this graph, these upper parts. This is when the light intensity is increased. Okay, so net gain in glucose, the rate of photosynthesis exceeds the rate of respiration. So this means more glucose in these parts. Okay, so look at these lower parts. These lower parts, this is when the light intensity is low. Net loss in glucose. Glucose used in respiration is faster than glucose produced in photosynthesis. So when light intensity continue to increase beyond the compensation points, okay, this one, compensation points, the rate of photosynthesis become faster compared to rate of respiration. So more glucose is produced, okay, more glucose is produced after compensation point, this one, okay. Okay, at the same time, carbon dioxide need to be absorbed from the atmosphere to compensate the rate of its uses in photosynthesis. Excessive oxygen is released into the atmosphere. Okay, carbon dioxide uptake is increased in photosynthesis to compensate the rate of uses in photosynthesis. If the rate of glucose production exceeds the rate of glucose usage, the excess glucose is stored in the form of starch by the plants. Okay, if the process of photosynthesis is higher compared to the process of respirations, so more glucose is produced. Okay, so this glucose is stored in the form of starch. Okay, what will happen if the rate of respirations and rate of photosynthesis remain the same at the compensation points? So there is no excess glucose produced because the product of photosynthesis will be fully used for the plant respiration, because product of photosynthesis, oxygen and glucose is used for cellular respiration in plants. The rate of photosynthesis must exceed the rate of respiration every day to ensure the growth and production of flower, seeds, and fruits to occur. This enables the rate of glucose production to exceed the rate of glucose usage, and the excess of glucose can be used for growth and development process in the plants. At the same time, the excess oxygen from the photosynthesis is then released into the atmosphere to support other organisms. Comparisons between photosynthesis and respiration in plants. The similarity is both processes take place in living organisms, and both processes involve the uptake and release of gases. Okay, the differences is in photosynthesis, organism involved is green plants and photosynthetic bacteria, whereas in process of respirations, all organisms involved. Okay, type of cell. In photosynthesis process, it happens in the cell containing chlorophyll. Okay, in process of respirations, it happens in all cells. Type of metabolisms. In process of photosynthesis, we call it anabolisms, okay, which is the synthesis of glucose using carbon dioxide and water. Whereas in respiration, we call it catabolisms. Okay, this is the breakdowns of glucose to produce energy. Site of process of photosynthesis is chloroplast. Okay, whereas site of respiration is mitochondria. Reaction substances in photosynthesis is carbon dioxide and water, whereas in respiration, reaction substances is oxygen and glucose. Product in photosynthesis is glucose, and product in process of respiration is energy. Byproducts or waste products in photosynthesis is oxygen and water, whereas in process of respiration is carbon dioxide and water. Energy involved. In process of photosynthesis, light energy is absorbed and converted into chemical energy, but in process of respiration, chemical energy is converted to ATP and heat energy. Light requirements in photosynthesis, it needs lights, okay, whereas in process of respiration does not need light, so it can occur during daytime and night times. Formative practice 2.5. Here are the question. Question number 1. Give the definitions of compensation points. The answer is, compensation point is the level of light intensity when the rate of respiration equal to the rate of photosynthesis. Okay. Number 2, the compensation point of fern plants which grow on the rainforest floor happens at 10 a.m. In your opinions, at what time does a ficus plants which grow higher in the same forest achieve its compensation points? So the answer is before 10 a.m. Okay, as a ficus plants tree is taller and thus receive a higher light intensity. Question number 3. At the compensation point, the rate of photosynthesis and cellular respiration is the same. State the effect on the production of glucose by plants and the release of oxygen into the atmosphere. Okay, answer for A. Glucose produced in photosynthesis is fully used for cell respirations in plants. And answer for B. no oxygen is released into the atmosphere as it been fully used for respirations. Okay, that's all for formative practice 2.5. Okay, that's all for today. See you next lessons. Thank you and bye-bye.